most decorated players in this signing class. So we'll chat with him at 2 o'clock. The draft is done. 3 days, 20 rounds, and the dust is settled. So now, a lot of different things can happen in terms of the players that were drafted, the players that were not drafted. You got options to sign free agent deals. People can come back to school, stay in school, all that kind of stuff. So that'll be something that goes on over the next 2 weeks. The signing deadline is in 2 weeks for Major League Baseball, and I wanted to kind of go over everything big picture here in the first segment of the show. We'll start with the current team. Obviously, we talked about the top of the draft with Skeens and Cruz and Floyd going in round 1. Grant Taylor goes in round 2. Trey Morgan, round 3. Gavin Dugas in round 6. That was the first couple of days. Yesterday, you saw a number of LSU players go off the board. Garrett Edwards in the 11th round. Blake Money in the 12th round. Braden Jobert in the 12th round as well. Riley Cooper went in the 13th round. Jordan Thompson was selected in the 15th round. Jamin Coleman in the 16th round. And then Christian Little in the 19th round. And so all of these players have a decision to make whether or not they want to take that money and start their professional career or return to LSU to play. I think some of these decisions have been made. Some of them are kind of in flux based on the details of the proposal from the major league teams. The major league teams can offer them $1.50. They can offer them $150K. It just depends on what the organization thinks about that pick. Garrett Edwards taking the 11th pick. I fully expect Garrett Edwards to sign and start his professional career. We talked about that yesterday. With the Tommy John surgery, probably couldn't pitch next year. Just a time to take the money and move forward. Blake Money was selected in the 12th round. He's got a decision to make. He does have a year to come back. He's a junior. He could return, or he could take the money and go. Braden Jobert was selected by the Cardinals in the 12th round. I expect Braden Jobert to sign that contract and to start his professional career. So really nice 2 years for Braden Jobert. Some really big hits over his 2 years in Baton Rouge, but I think it's time he's going to move on to professional baseball. Riley Cooper was selected by the Orioles. He told Matt Moscona as of a week ago, hey, my intention is to sign. I think Riley Cooper will sign a contract with the Orioles and start his professional career. Jordan Thompson, it took a while. I thought Jordan Thompson was a 5th rounder. And for some reason, he slides all the way to the 15th round. I don't know if he was fielding calls in the top 10 rounds and the money wasn't right. I don't know what happened in the top 10 rounds. I do know as of yesterday that Jordan Thompson kind of had a number and he wanted teams to get to it. I think the Dodgers did. So I expect Jordan Thompson to start his professional career as well. San Diego kid drafted by a Southern California team. I think Jordan Thompson will start his professional career. The last two guys, Jamin Coleman in the 16th and Christian Little in the 19th, we'll see. Those are two guys in very different situations. Jamin Coleman, coming off the injury, didn't pitch a ton this past year, and certainly could come back next year. Christian Little, huge profile as a recruit, signee to Vanderbilt, big talent, and it just hasn't come together in 3 years of college for Christian Little. It would not surprise me to see both of those guys back at LSU next year. Again, not certain. No one's announced anything. It's just that's a real possibility is what it sounds like. So those guys will make their decision in the next 2 weeks what they want to do. Would it shock me if Jamin Coleman signed with the Dodgers? No. Would it shock me if Christian Little signed with the Mets? No. Would it shock me if either one of those guys or both of those guys came back? Absolutely not. So the rest of the guys that weren't drafted, talk about Milazzo, Travinsky, those are guys that have options to come back and play at LSU. I'm not sure what their decision's going to be. And then Nate Ackenhausen's the last guy, and I expect Nate Ackenhausen back at LSU. I think he'll be a nice piece. Have a chance to start. He says he's more comfortable starting. But we know he can be a big-time reliever as well. So that's a really good thing for LSU. So LSU had the most players drafted of any college in the country. I believe it was 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right there on the number, most of any school in the country. But you want to hear about the signees, don't you? We'll do that right now. Stephen Milam, as I mentioned, is going to join us in an hour to talk about his situation. He was not drafted, so certainly he will be at LSU. Cameron Johnson waited around, and then boom, right at the end of my show, he gets drafted, and we couldn't talk about it. But Cameron Johnson went in the 20th round to the Cardinals. The Cardinals general manager held a teleconference yesterday, said, yeah, that's kind of a Hail Mary. And I expect Cameron Johnson to be at LSU. I do not expect him to sign with the Cardinals. If I had to rank the 3 probabilities with Cameron Johnson, this is no inside information, just knowing this process the way that I do. Cameron Johnson, number 1, I think he's going to be at LSU. That's the most probable situation. Number 2, he could go to junior college, so he only has to play for 1 year and he can re-enter the draft. It's possible. Look, Mac Marshall did it, and he had been in class for 2 weeks. So that stuff does happen. And the third likelihood is he signs with the Cardinals. I don't see that under any circumstance. You're talking about a 6'4", solidly built young man who can throw in the upper 90s. You're not going to sign for the $300,000 the Cardinals might be able to toss your way. That ain't happening. If it does, then the advisor needs to be fired immediately. But I don't expect that to happen. I think it's very likely Cameron Johnson ends up at LSU. Feel the same way about Jake Brown. He was a 16th round pick of the Rangers. We talked about that yesterday. Everybody kind of went up in arms. There's a lot of drama. Jake Brown had tweeted out the Tigers after the 10th round, the emojis. He's coming to LSU. Then he deletes the tweet. Oh, my goodness, what's going on? Every indication is that Jake Brown, Louisiana Player of the Year, left-handed pitcher from Sulphur, will be at LSU next year. And that's a guy that can fight absolutely for a rotation spot in this program, and will in his time there in some capacity. So that's a great get for LSU. Ashton Larson was also picked by the Minnesota Twins in round 20. That one I don't have any real info on. He's a super talent, though. Real toolsy, can really run, left-handed hitter, got some power. Like, that's a guy who should command a lot of money from professional baseball, and there's just not a ton of money in the 20th round. Now, sometimes teams move money around, but the Twins don't figure to have a ton of it in their coffers. It's possible. I don't know what their top 10 round picks are asking for or agreed to. Maybe they all took underslot and there's $1 million left there. But the indication is that Ashton Larson will come to LSU. We'll see. You just never know in these situations. And there may be some of you asking, why would you draft a player if you're not going to sign him? Well, here's the deal. In the 20th round, you can either take someone who doesn't project as a professional ball player, as a major league ball player, and get them into your organization and have them as an organizational player. Or you can grab a lottery ticket. And maybe, over the course of some negotiations, maybe you find out that high schooler wasn't really committed to college. That was just kind of a leverage play to get as much money as possible. And then when you actually go to the table and say, hey, I do have $240,000 for you, they'll take it. I don't know what Ashton Larson's thinking at all. But that's the situation these teams are in when they draft in the back end of the draft, rounds 15 through 20. You can take a low ceiling player that you can get in, or you can try to grab a lottery ticket and see if you can't get a 5th round talent to sign for cheap in the 20th. It's worth a shot, in my opinion, if you're one of these teams. And that's what the Cardinals were saying about Cameron Johnson. Hey, this is kind of a lottery ticket here. It's a Hail Mary is what he called it. We'll see what happens, but I don't anticipate Cameron Johnson signing with the Cardinals for sure. So rest of the signing class intact. Stephen Milam wasn't picked. Jim J. Seo wasn't picked. I think there were some thoughts that Tanner Reeves, junior college player, might have some overtures. That hasn't happened. So still time for Major League teams to sign free agents for what, in the grand scheme of things in the Major League draft, is an insignificant amount of money, but it could be to an individual player. But right now, I would say LSU made out great from this draft. Great. You had the top-end guys go and give you a ton of publicity. You had some guys who have fallen on rough times with their health. Grant Taylor and Garrett Edwards get picked and get some money. You had Jordan Thompson and Riley Cooper get selected, and they get to start their MLB draft career. Same with Braden Jobert. And you look at the young crop that you're bringing in, and you really may only lose one guy. Blake Mitchell might be the only signee you lose. Now, this class was not as top-heavy as last year's, where you were dodging things left and right. You ended up getting Shores and getting Kling, but lost Crawford and lost a couple others, Mizorowski. this one wasn't as top-heavy, so you weren't going to have that type of carnage like you did last year, even though that class ended up being great. This one stayed intact, and that is a big, big win for LSU. And if you look at the way this thing is trending, I had the numbers yesterday, but I don't have them through the entirety of the draft. They're just as most teams are drafting mainly college players. The high school kids are not getting drafted, I think, at the rate that they were. And that's because, one, college players are more predictable and safer. And two, because the high school kids now realize that this college baseball lifestyle they can live for 2 or 3 years is better than the lifestyle of the minor leaguer. You don't have quite as much in your checking account, potentially, depending on where you're drafted if you go pro early. But it's just a good deal. You're on ESPN. You're playing in front of 10,000. You're flying private, staying in nicer hotels. Go to Omaha, playing games that matter. That's just a little more appetizing than Helena, Montana, Kissimmee, Florida, Trenton, New Jersey. Just is. And so LSU made out really, really well in this Major League Baseball draft. I will we'll chat, as we mentioned, with Stephen Milam at 2 o'clock. He was one of the middle infield prospects in this class that will be coming to LSU. So excited to hear what Stephen Milam has to say. The last time LSU got a shortstop from New Mexico, things went pretty well. So I think that Stephen Milam has some big shoes to fill in that regard, but he's going to be a heck of a player in Baton Rouge, and we'll chat with him straight up 2 o'clock. Take a timeout right now. Come back with Ronnie Rantz next.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jimmy out for the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Dwayne Colucci, Tim Murray from VEASAN, Matt Humans, Paul Stone. A lot of guests for you. Thursday edition of Live at Lunch from Jolie Pearl on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
What If Wednesday coming up in 15 minutes. If you got some what ifs for me, throw them up at Twitter at HuntPalmer88 or in the Bayou 4 chat over on YouTube. We'll get to those in the next segment. But now we'll go out to the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Chat with our guy, Ronnie Rantz. Ronnie, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Going good. Did the Pirates get it right at 1 with Paul Skeens?
Man, you talk about having an easy job being the GM for them. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either, but I think so. I mean, you know, if we're talking comparing them to Ben McDonald and Strasburg and all these other guys, then Paul Skeens deserves to be number one overall. He is arguably the greatest college pitcher of all time, a guy who literally can throw 100 miles an hour in his 120th pitch, and throws, you know, in the zone, and he's a workhorse, and he's effortless, and he's got no injury history, and there's not a lot of mileage on the arm. I mean, I think it's a can't miss pick.
I think it's an easier job to be the Nationals GM than it was the Pirates GM. At least the Pirates had to pick one.
Right.
The other guy, just give me the other guy. We'll make that work. You've watched this thing basically from the start at LSU baseball. Do you think Skeens and/or Cruz gets their number retired?
I think Cruz for sure. And look, I don't know the rules. There's some quirky rules that LSU has when it comes to number retirements and statues and all that. And I don't know the legalese of, you know, what you got to do to qualify for all that. But Dylan Cruz being a 3-year player, I think it's a no-brainer. Yeah. I mean, he's a college baseball Hall of Famer. And probably Paul Skeens will be a college baseball Hall of Famer as well. But when you do it for 3 years, you're in that elite company with the Furnaces and the Todd Walkers and the Ben McDonalds of the world. I think there's a separate award. I don't know. It's separate Mount Rushmore mountain that's got the guys, the 1-year guys, the Brandon Larsons, the Lloyd Peavers, and the Paul Skeens. They have their own, you know, kind of section.
It was fun to watch, that's for sure. You watch the draft unfold. How do you think this team starts to look as of next year? Is it a national title contender?
I think so because of the transfer portal. You know, LSU's not going to be finished putting all their pieces together, and they got some players from high school to come. You know, obviously you've got some returning stars. So yeah, as far as a contender goes, absolutely.
Is Thatcher Hurd ready to be the top of the rotation guy?
You know, I think so. I think, you know, by top of the rotation, is he ready to be the ace? That would be that's going to be an interesting situation to see, but clearly he can be a 2. I think, you know, when you accomplish what he did down the stretch and you pitch in those big games and you on that big stage, I mean, that and you have success, those kinds of things stay with you. And look, he's a guy who was coming off of a surgery. He was just a year removed from arm surgery. So, and he's a young guy. I think you're going to see tremendous growth and command out of him from, you know, now talking about summer of 23 to the next time you see him in February of 24. I expect he's going to grow a ton.
You had some freshmen kind of establish themselves as starters in the middle of the season, kind of lost their jobs, whether it was due to performance or injury. That was Brady Neal, Paxton Kling, and Jared Jones. Of those three, who's got to take the step to be kind of the guy right behind Tommy White?
I think Jones is going to be a beast, and I was kind of surprised that he got put on the shelf as much as he did the last month of the season. You know, he really was kind of not heard from. The guy still ended up being second-team freshman All-American, and he didn't really play the last month. But, I mean, like, what we saw out of him is pretty tremendous. I mean, yeah, he swung and missed a lot, and, he, you know, with breaking balls, he you know, ate him up, but who doesn't breaking balls eat up? I mean, here's how you handle breaking balls, Hunt. Don't swing at them. Like this, you know, don't swing at them until you get to 2 strikes, and then, you know, and then only swing at it if you got a chance and it's up in the zone a little bit. But I think he's going to be sensational. I think you're going to see him be great. And look, I love Paxton Kling. I think Paxton Kling's the next five-tool, Mikey Matuk, Dylan Cruz skill set kind of guy that can run and throw and hit with power and all the things you want. So I hope we don't expect too much out of those guys in the sense that, we don't expect him to be Dylan Cruz, but he's got the abilities and the skill set to be in that conversation.
All right, we'll take your SEC Network analyst hat off and put that to the side. We'll put your Rougarou hat on here. Ron checking in. Looks like we got an Ironman competition tomorrow.
So, look, in summer baseball, basically the Baton Rouge Rougarou or minor league baseball, but with college players, you got to be creative, Hunt, and that's what we're doing this week. We got two promotions. Thursday night we have one, Saturday we have one, but Thursday night, Davis Mesh, he's a player on our team. He's from Barb High School in Lake Charles. He went to Mississippi State for a couple of seasons. Now he's at UL Monroe. He's going to play all 9 positions tomorrow night, one different position each inning. We're calling it an Ironman night. For those that are old like I am, you remember Keith Osick did this in 1990 at LSU. They did it in a midweek game, and they had an Ironman night. Keith Osick went on to play in the major leagues as a catcher. And so we're doing it with Davis Mesh. And if you wear an Ironman T-shirt or hat from the superhero or a mask or anything, you get in free, and you get on the field to take a picture with them in the 4th inning. We're going to have all the Ironmen on the field with them. So that's going to be really cool. And then Saturday night, we've got the tallest and the shortest umpires in the world. We got a 7'2" umpire and a 4'2" umpire that are going to be doing the game on Saturday. So forward to it.
All right, I got to ask about the Ironman competition, playing all 9 positions. Did players volunteer for this? I mean, Dave's a heck of a player. I watched him on Saturday when I called the game. Did you have to pick somebody? I mean, how do we determine who the Ironman is here?
Yeah, it was obviously it's very easy to figure out who's even capable of doing all 9, but he's got the personality for it. He's played all the infield positions. He's even was a pitcher in high school. So really the only thing I had to talk to him about was catcher, and he was game for it. Not everybody is game for being a catcher for an inning, but he did a little practice down there in the bullpen and everything, and he said, hey, he's ready to go.
I would ask to play catcher first to get that out of the way. I would want no part of going back there. So we're going to do that in the first inning. Let me take this equipment off and go play somewhere else. Is that in the mix?
So here's the thing. The first inning of the game and the last inning of the game are the most important 2 innings, right, in baseball. Sure. And so I don't want to put him at something like I don't want to pitch him or catch him in one of those 2 innings because they're just so crucial. We still want to try to win the game, right?
Sure.
So so because of that, I think we haven't worked it out. We're supposed to schedule it tonight because obviously Tommy Chrysan's going to have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I thought about that too. As the official score, he's got to move them all over the place. I would want no part of that either.
You're right. So we're going to figure it out, but I think you're going to see him catch and pitch probably somewhere in more in the middle inning.
Tell me about your 4'2" umpire.
So Lathan, the kid umpire, you can give him a follow on social media. He's already done. He's from Hammond, Louisiana. He's already done a couple of Savannah Bananas games, and he's as an umpire, as a guest umpire, and he's 8 years old. He's 4'2", wants to be a professional umpire, works games all the time, and does an unbelievable job. So the Lathan, the umpire kid, give him a follow on all the social media. He'll be out there Saturday.
All right, Ronnie, we appreciate it, man. We'll see you out there.
All right. Thank you, Hunt.
He is Ronnie Rantz, owner of the Rougarou, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, former LSU pitcher, SEC Network. However you'd like to introduce yourself, Ronnie, that's Rougarou is who we were talking to there. I got a chance to call the Rougarou game back on Saturday night, and it's fun to go out there and just watch a little bit of baseball. It's a different environment than going to the box or going to see Tiger Stadium or going to a Saints game. It's more intimate, it's more relaxed, it's more affordable, and it's quality baseball. They got some guys that play at LSU. They got some guys that play at Louisiana Monroe. Got some play. The team that they were playing on Saturday, Brazos Valley, had a couple of A&M players on their team. So it's high level baseball over there, and they have some fun as well. Ironman night coming up tomorrow, and then Friday, the world's tallest and shortest umpires umping the same game out there at Pete Goldsby Field with the Baton Rouge Rougarou summer baseball team here in Baton Rouge. All right, still plenty to get to here on this Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I'm going to talk about something at the end of this hour that is not important, but that I feel passionate about, so we'll get to that at the end of the hour. Stephen Milam, LSU signee from New Mexico, middle infielder, going to chat with us at 2 o'clock. want to talk a little Saints in the second hour, as well as some potential free agents the Saints could be looking at here because they have some money to spend. So I went and looked around the free agent market and kind of figured out who I would like the Saints to maybe take a look at in the free agent market as we are rapidly approaching training camp. The Saints made their announcement of training camp. Look, we got SC Media Days next week, and I'm going to be out for a week on vacation. When I come back that next Monday, Saints are in camp and LSU's reported. So we're just about there. Man, thank you to this LSU baseball team and the Major League Draft for kind of getting us there, but we've made it to football. So we'll talk a little Saints coming up in hour number 2. When we come back, it is Wednesday. That means it is What If Wednesday. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We've got all the recap and reaction to the MLB draft, and the Big 12 kicks off college football's talking season with Big 12 Media Days. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, moving right along here on a Wednesday, about half the work week in the rear view mirror. Thanks for hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Wednesday, middle of the first hour. That means time for What If Wednesday.
Time. Space. Reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, first one here. What if Dylan Crews got to second on the hit versus Wake Forest right before Tommy Tanks walked it off? Do you think they'd walk Tommy Tanks if Crews was sitting at second?
That's a great one. I saw that earlier today on Twitter, and I think the answer is yes. Crews led off the 11th with a single, and it was down the left field line kind of, and I guess theoretically he could have tried to stretch it to a double. It's the bottom half. It's a scoreless game. White's run wouldn't have mattered. I think they would have walked Tommy White. That would have brought up Trey Morgan, who probably at that point bunts, and then you've got Dugas and Beloso. So, I mean, that certainly would have changed things dramatically if Crews would have turned and gone, and thankfully he didn't because Manassi hung a slider and Tanks hit it in the bullpen.
What if courses like Pine Valley and Cypress Point could actually host the U.S. Open? What would the winning score look like?
It's tough because you can do whatever you want to a golf course. You can make the fairways next to nothing. You can put the pins in impossible spots. I mean, both of those courses are very much capable of hosting a U.S. Open and would be phenomenal venues. I'm lucky enough to have played Cypress Point. The Cypress Point that I played from my tees was not overly difficult. It's gorgeous, and it's an amazingly designed golf course, and there's, deer out there, and it's secluded and silent, and it's just amazing. We got an email from Cypress Point where we went out there that said, yes, you may play unaccompanied. You have to arrive between 6 and 7, tee off between 7 and 8, no shorts, no cell phones. You can't use the clubhouse. You can't use the driving range, and please leave when you're done. but we did get to play, and it's phenomenal. In Pine Valley, I've seen flyovers of, and that place looks absolutely brutal, and I'm sure they could make it just ridiculously hard if they wanted to, but it's those clubs I don't think are interested in having the masses come. They're very elite, and they're very exclusive, and they don't want that kind of attention. Cypress has hosted some like U.S. amateurs and stuff over the years.
They used to have the Pebble Beach. I think they would play
the Clam Bake at one point, and now they don't do that. They play Pebble, Spyglass, and Pebble, Spyglass, and they play Spanish Bay.
No, I think it might just be Pebble and Spyglass.
Pebble and Spyglass. Okay, because Spanish Bay is kind of thought of as the lesser course out there. I've played that one too. But yeah, I mean, they would be phenomenal to watch on, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So they're not. It's not as if Cypress Point is significantly harder than any of the courses that host U.S. Opens, than the Oakmonts or the Marions or whatever. It's just more exclusive.
Right. I think getting the infrastructure for a tournament like that would be tough as well.
Yeah.
What if the Saints didn't trade every draft pick for Ricky Williams?
I mean, we can't. I mean, now that the pain of that has subsided and they've had this great run and they won a Super Bowl, and we can kind of reflect on that and what happened. We really need that in Saints history. We need the wedding dresses on Sports Illustrated or ESPN, whichever one that was. We need the pictures of Ditka in the Hawaiian shirt quitting on the rest of the draft. Like, because the Saints went on that great run, you can kind of bury some of the terrible memories of the past. And now that those are buried, we can dig them up and laugh at them. And that is certainly one that I'm glad we can look back and laugh at. Think about that in today's framework. They took the position that has been devalued more than any in the sport and traded the entire draft for it. You almost can't make a worse move than that. Like, maybe if you're going to get your franchise quarterback for the next 14 years, you ditch the rest of the draft. A running back, you can find somebody like that in the 6th round? I don't think so. Unbelievable move.
I mean, even if he's going to be a 1,500 yard, 2,000 yard running back, it's still just ridiculous. What if Trey Morgan was right-handed? Would he be a shortstop?
So that's an interesting question. His hands are that good.
Yeah.
He could play defense like that, like a shortstop. I don't think of Trey Morgan as having a quick release, and that's vital to play the shortstop position. He kind of, remember when he was playing in the outfield, he kind of takes a while to unfurl and unwind and get rid of the baseball. Like, that's fine at first base. And he certainly had the hands to make the play on the squeeze bunt and whatnot, but, like, he just seems to kind of take a while to unpack when he's throwing the ball, and that doesn't necessarily play it short. So in terms of just fielding the baseball, absolutely, his hands are that good. I don't know if the fluidity and the infield actions would translate, but it's a good question.
All right, last one here out of the Bayou Ford chat. What if Bird drops the pass versus Auburn in 07?
So if he drops it, I guess theoretically there's a second left on the clock, and LSU can kick the field goal, and they've got to make it. If he drops it and it takes time, and they can't run another play, it's one of the all-time bonehead decisions in SEC history to have a team with that much preseason hype as the number one team in the country and with that kind of talent, and to lose it on a clock management issue would have been, I mean, legendary. But now it's like a famous play because you executed it correctly. I mean, I was a student, a sophomore for that team, and that play happened right in front of the student section, right in front of me, and I have vivid memories of it. It was a horrendously managed situation. LSU should not have put themselves in that kind of situation. And one of my favorite things to look at in that highlight, when Bird is catching the ball and they pan to the sideline, Les jumps and yells, "He pushed off." He's trying to get the interference call because he's looking at the clock going, "Oh my God, what have we done?" And then Bird catches it and then does the "can't see me" and Les fist pumps and the whole place goes nuts. But look, if he drops that ball, I mean, I think you're clearly not talking about a national championship team. You take a national championship off the board. Now, butterfly effect and what happens against Kentucky and what happens against Arkansas, like, who knows? But just if you just put a loss on that, they clearly don't make it to the national championship game. They don't even play for it because they've got 3 losses. So that would change things pretty significantly. It was a heck of a catch by the Birdman, kind of on the slide in the north end zone down there. Legendary play. That would have been nuts. Got a couple more in the Bayou Ford chat that I saw. One said, "What if LSU hired Mike Bianco instead of Jay Johnson?" I mean, you don't have a national championship here. I don't believe that Mike Bianco would have gotten Paul Skeens. I don't believe that he would have gotten Tommy White. I think that was Jay Johnson in his ability to recruit and manage the portal and kind of be out in front of this. He's talked about this over the last couple of weeks. Said, when Jacob Berry and Gervais and Raiselman came that year, he realized, like, this is a really important way to handle your roster, to go get transfers to come in. Now, they had to have them on the 22 team because they didn't have enough arms. Like, you simply had to go get Gervais, Raiselman, Cooper, all like that. That was a must because you did not have enough arms on that team. But having Berry come in and be a middle of the order bat, it's the first college hitter taken in the MLB draft, like, just a massive deal. And he realized that on the 22 team and said, let's take it to the next step in 2023. And I've listened to people, Chase Parham being one, that covers Ole Miss, saying that Ole Miss kind of got caught behind the 8 ball with the transfer portal last year because they went all the way to the end of the season in Omaha and won the national championship, obviously, while for 2 weeks people like Jay Johnson were mining the transfer portal and then maybe didn't realize how big a deal it was. I mean, you've heard some prestigious coaches talk about how they're not going to go heavy into the transfer portal. You've heard Dabo Swinney say that. You've heard Tim Corbin say that at Vanderbilt. Like, that's not going to be something that we spend a lot of time on here. And I think that's a huge mistake. And Jay Johnson is hammering the transfer portal. And, oh, by the way, I think you'll probably get some good news on that front in the next 24 hours. Maybe even as early as today. But he's all over the transfer portal, and that's a really, really good thing. for LSU, and I don't know that Mike Bianco's been that forward-thinking. They tried a little bit. Oklahoma State's ace that went in the second round this year. Ole Miss was in on him and didn't make it happen, but it's a big piece to the puzzle, and Jay Johnson's working it beautifully. And I don't want anybody else coaching that baseball program. I want Jay Johnson handling it, and he's doing an awesome job. So that is What If Wednesday here on this Wednesday on the Hunt Palmer Show. Got Stephen Milam, LSU signee, speaking of baseball, middle infielder from Las Cruces, New Mexico, be with us in 18 minutes at straight up 2 o'clock. When we come back, I'm going to rant and rave about something nobody cares about.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana. We've been telling you for weeks about Chef Corey Barr. We've told you about his rise to national stardom, being the next Food Network star, beating Bobby Flay, winning Chopped. He's got a national profile, but Corey Barr is a Louisianian first and foremost, and that's why he operates his 3 businesses in his hometown of Monroe, and he always does everything he can for his home state while maintaining a national profile in the culinary world. That's why Corey Barr is a champion of Louisiana. If you know a champion of Louisiana, whether it's a person, a nonprofit, a business that's doing great work in our state, we want to tell their story. LWCC gives us that platform. So go to lwcc.com/champions and nominate a champion of Louisiana. Corey Barr, our champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after
on Thursdays, OTB. The Cajun Cannon stops by to talk a little Saints football. Plus, Chef Michael Johnson, the brand new edition of Munchies, and Ronnie Rantz joins us to talk Rougarou. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 1045 ESPN.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Look, I'm self-aware, okay, in most situations. And I know that this is insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but it doesn't make me like it. I'm at Pluckers last night. We're having some fun, playing some sports trivia. Folks are eating, drinks are flowing. It's a good time. And I can't shake free from the anger of watching the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Why, might you ask? The uniforms. Did you see? Did you watch the Major League Baseball All-Star Game? There's one of the coolest things about the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is looking out there and seeing all the guys in their home whites. And you represent your team, and you got the Cubs in the beautiful blue pinstripes standing next to the Cardinals with the classic birds on the bat. And you've got the Yankees and Red Sox right next to each other in the home whites or the road grays. And everybody looks uniform, but you've just got your teams on. And all of a sudden, we've gone away from that for this horrendous display of uniforms. One, you can't tell who anybody plays for because the logo is camouflaged into the sleeve in the hat. And two, the National League is wearing navy tops and black pants. It just looks terrible. There's no way someone looks on that field and goes, man, that looks really cool. I was fine when they wore the stupid-looking stuff for the home run derby. That's great. I know who's hitting. Go ahead. But I'm watching from Pluckers last night. I can't tell who anybody is. It's just terrible. I know. I'm 35, going on 77. I got it. Like, I understand who I am. I'm self-aware. And I know that the jerseys and the uniforms these guys wear in the All-Star Game is insignificant. I can't shake it. It looks so stupid. And I was crestfallen last year when I hopped on my Spirit Airlines flight up to Chicago and walked into Wrigley, and the Cubs are wearing navy jerseys and navy pants. The Cubs are royal blue and red. Not only are they wearing stupid uniforms, they're not even the right color. Why are we shifting to this? I turn on the NBA, I can't tell what team's playing because they got some City Connect uniform on that one doesn't even say what the play. It says the Valley or I can't handle it. Just put the normal uniforms on. And then we have another issue when teams do wear their normal uniforms. This just got announced today, and it's just Pandora's box going everywhere. The New York Yankees, the most traditional organization in all of sports. No mustaches, no beards, no long hair. The New York Yankees are putting an advertisement on their uniform. They've got an insurance company on their left arm, Star Insurance. And while this patch is not gaudy or out of control or off-putting in really any way, it's just the beginning. And I'm just terrified that the New York Yankees and the Chicago Cubs, and yes, eventually the LSU Tigers, are going to run out without their logo on the front, and it'll have a restaurant on the front or a car dealer. And that will break my heart. I don't want my teams looking like those stupid soccer teams across the pond. I can't even tell who I'm looking at because they got T-Mobile on their jersey. What team is that? I don't know. It's a slippery slope, and I'm not here for it. I don't like it. I cannot be alone in this frustration. I can't. I know there's going to be plenty of people that say, Hunt, shut up. They're just uniforms. Watch the game. I know. I get you. But I just disagree vehemently. Can we just wear the normal uniforms? I'm okay with the Cubs putting Gallagher insurance on the outfield wall. I don't love it, but it's fine. If they come out in uniforms that just say Gallagher across the front, I'm going to have a heart attack. And I thought there were some teams that were immune to this, and the Yankees would be first on the list. But there's Star Insurance paying $25 million to have a patch on the uniform. It's always the money. Always the money. In other uniform news, which is actually a little better, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers announced today that they're going to wear creamsicle in Week 6. Going to go back to the old ones they used to wear. I'll be honest. I don't think the uniforms look great because I think that color's kind of ugly. I don't love the creamsicle. But it's a great aversion from what are, in my opinion, the ugliest uniforms in the history of American team sports. Those alarm clock letters and numbers that Tampa wore as of a couple of years ago. So again, the creamsicle, Beck's got a picture up here. I don't think it's awesome. It's an ugly color, but it's certainly better than what they had going on with the alarm clock letters. I think there are a bunch of people that love the creamsicle. There's some throwback uniforms in the NFL that I adore. I think Pat Patriot that on the helmet is fantastic. Love that. But creamsicle's not my favorite. It is an upgrade from some of the stuff that Tampa has been wearing. So I have now sufficiently spent 6 or 7 minutes ranting, raving, and complaining about uniforms, none of which are in a market that you care about. But I just had to get that off my chest here on July the 12th. The All-Star Game uniforms are atrocious. The Yankees putting a patch on their uniform is terrifying. And the Bucks, maybe a step in the right direction. Some people will really like it. And they're not playing the Saints that week either, so you may not even notice. But that's part of the information that's out there. All right. That's enough on that. Let's see what the Bayou Ford chat. I'm telling people to get off my lawn. Bada bing, bada boom says, welcome to 2023. I don't like 2023, if that's what we got to do in the uniforms situation. Take me back to the 90s. City Connect uniforms, people were liking those in the chat. That's just offensive. I do like the Pelicans Mardi Gras uniforms for 2 weeks. It's unique to the city. I'm okay with it for 2 weeks. Every single game, I can't deal with it. I thought the Nuggets were one color. They're playing in the finals. All of a sudden they're blue. I didn't know that was a deal. Warriors come out. They're wearing black. Well, I thought they were blue and yellow. It is what it is. All right. That's it for hour number 1. If you missed any of hour number 1, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com. On demand tab, all our shows are there. You can catch Off the Bench, Live at Lunch, Hunt Palmer Show, After Further Review, all on the on-demand tab on 1045ESPN.com. If you're more of an app guy or an app girl, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, it's all there. It's also on YouTube. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the YouTube channels. You can subscribe to Hunt on LSU and Hunt on Saints. Both of those are all football all the time. It's that time of year now. Football content's going to be rolling fast and furious. We're going to talk Saints free agency in the second hour. So subscribe to those channels so you can get the content right to your fingertips each and every day. I opened with my thoughts on the Major League Baseball draft, how LSU did, what I expect some of LSU's players to do. Ronnie Rantz was with us at 1:15 talking some LSU baseball, as well as Rougarou. They got a guy that's going to play all 9 positions tomorrow for Ironman night. Friday night, they got Guinness Book of World Records, tallest umpire in the world, shortest umpire in the world. Go check that out over at the Pete. What If Wednesday was at 1:30 as well, and then I ran it and raved at the end of the hour. Nobody really cares much about that. Saints free agent stuff, 20 minutes from right now. When we come back, Stephen Milam, part of LSU's baseball signing class, will join us next after SportsCenter. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you.
Pop, pop.
What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 5 days remain until the deadline for the Giants and running back Saquon Barkley to reach a long-term deal. ESPN's Diana Rossini is reporting the sides still at a stalemate in contract talks. His availability for Week 1 in serious question if a long-term deal's not worked out. NBA Pelicans power forward Zion Williamson's message to fans: he just wants to be on the court. The oft-injured Williamson, during an appearance on the Gills Arena podcast, talked about improving his diet, focusing on staying healthy. He also stressed he just wants to hoop. ESPN radio host Jay Williams.
Somebody around that organization that I have full confidence in. Him and I have been having conversations, and when I got told this, it was shocking. Zion Williamson loves basketball. I don't know if Zion Williamson loves the work to put into basketball to be the player that we think he can be.
Jay Will on ESPN Radio Mornings. Surprising run of American Christopher Eubanks at Wimbledon ended today with his 5 sets loss to Daniil Medvedev in the men's quarterfinals. Medvedev will take on Carlos Alcaraz in the semis.
When you're trying to hire, all that searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, the end-to-end hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is on Palmer.
At the work week in the rearview mirror. 2 o'clock on a Wednesday here. Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Talk a little Saints coming up here in the next segment. They got some money to spend. I'll tell you where I think they should spend it. That's coming up next. But now we're going to head out to the Jim's Firearms Hotline, where we're going to find Stephen Milam. Stephen is a signee to LSU's baseball program, headed to Baton Rouge to start his collegiate career coming up in the fall. Good enough to give us a few minutes now. Stephen, thanks for the time. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
So, Stephen, my question is, what has the last couple of weeks been like for you as the draft approaches and you watch the last 3 days?
I mean, it was a different experience for sure. Not knowing whether you're gonna, go to school or you're gonna go be a professional baseball player. So it was a very shaky couple of weeks, but I would say I'm very happy with my decision to go to school and bet on myself and try and go get the Tigers another national championship.
I want to ask for like details or numbers or anything, but are you taking phone calls? Are you just letting your family or your advisors do that? Are you in the middle of it, or you just kind of say, let me know when it's over?
So the first day, I was just talking to my advisor. Second day, he got a couple phone calls, and then the third day, I was actually getting a couple of phone calls also. But obviously, at that point, I already told Jay Johnson that I was coming to LSU.
Why'd you pick LSU in the first place?
Always wanted to be a Tiger growing up, that fan base and everything. And then my hitting coach I still hit with, his name's Mark Aranda. Always told me to look at LSU ever since I was like 7, 8 years old. And then I saw Bregman make that spinning play in the World Series, and the fans just went crazy. And, I mean, that's just how I've always wanted to be. I actually talked to Bregman on the second day of the draft, and I told him just what was going on and stuff, and I was going to go to school. He's like, yeah, he's like, you should go to school. He's like, bet on yourself, and that program's going to turn you into something.
That's really cool. Obviously, Bregman hails from New Mexico. He's an Albuquerque product. You're from Las Cruces out there in New Mexico. How long have you had a relationship with Alex Bregman?
I'd say about 2-3 years. We talk. I know he's just been busy with his kid and everything, but, I mean, he was there for me to give me a little more support that I needed to make that decision to come to school.
So you're an infielder like Alex is. Where do you prefer to play on the diamond?
I prefer to play short, honestly, but short and third. But I know I'll be playing short and second there.
You're a switch hitter, which I always find fascinating. It's hard enough to hit from one side of the plate. To do it from both, I think, is just so impressive. When did that process start for you, and what's your natural side?
Yeah, so it started ever since I picked up a bat. I've always hit both ways. Always done the same amount of reps both ways. I got to hit one way, I got to go hit the other way. So, yeah, ever since I was a little baby, even in T-ball, I always switch hit. My dad always made me do both sides. It's super hard. I mean, I got to do double the work, but, I mean, it pays off.
Do you find that you're more comfortable on one side, or do you prefer to hit from one side?
Yeah, I'm a natural lefty, so I need to get more bats right-handed, obviously. But I like hitting both ways, honestly. One day left feels better, one day right feels better. I mean, it just depends, but I'm a natural lefty.
So now, obviously, LSU is next up for you. How many times have you been to Baton Rouge to kind of visit campus? Have you been to a game?
I have never been to a baseball game. I've been there probably 4 or 5 times. I've watched LSU football beat Florida and LSU football beat Alabama last year. So those are 2 crazy games that I've been to. But no, I've never been to a baseball game. But I love the city and I love the atmosphere and the fans and how supportive they are of everything.
Tell me your experience of watching LSU beat Alabama in Tiger Stadium last year.
I mean, that's something I've never witnessed before, anything close to it. We stormed the field. Me and Blake Mitchell were on the front row, and we stormed the field. That was one of the best experiences of my life. I've never seen a college stadium like that explode. I know Kelly's doing a lot of good work over there, so hopefully they can take some good teams down this year.
We're chatting with Stephen Milam, signing into LSU's baseball program, infielder from Las Cruces, New Mexico. You mentioned you and Blake Mitchell were there. Was Blake, did he have any intention of coming to LSU? Obviously, he goes 8th in the draft, and at that point, the decision is made for you. But do you think he thought that there was a chance he could come to LSU?
Yeah, I mean, he thought about it. I know me and him are close. I know he wanted to come and everything, but once you go 8th overall, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't stay away from that.
Tell me about the relationships that you have in the signing class, some of the guys that you've gotten to know as y'all have been commitments and signees to LSU.
Yeah, so I've known Blake since I was like 11, 12 years old. We tried out for the national team together when we were 12. I played with Kate Anderson he's from Louisiana, in travel ball. Jake Brown, played with him in USA Baseball. Cameron Johnson, same thing. Austin Rowley, played with him on the same team, actually. Kucherak, Ryan, we played on the area code team together. Dallas Dale, we played together. Ashton Larson, we played together. I mean, we're all a pretty tight group. We all play together, know each other, know how each other ticks and everything. So I think we're gonna make a really good run this year with all the freshmen.
That's really cool. I'm curious if y'all have kind of been talking to each other the last 3 days as kind of all this has gone on. Has that kind of been something that y'all have stayed in touch as people have taken phone calls, draft picks have been made and whatnot?
Yeah, so Jake Brown and Kate Anderson, I told them right away, I was like, hey, I'm coming to school. Because those two are my roommates, and they were pumped. They're like, when you get in here and everything. And, it was hard losing Blake. I wish we would have came to campus, but you can't get away from the 8th pick. But talked to Ashton a little bit. He's still debating on what to do with the draft and everything. But I know Cam Johnson's going to come to school with us, so that's a big win for us.
There's no doubt about that. That's a guy we've been talking about a lot here. So what's your plan this summer? When do you come to Baton Rouge and kind of get started?
Yeah, so I'm going to get there August 11th is my moving day. I'm going to go play in the Connie Mack World Series in Farmington next week with the ABA Academy. So I think that time was like 7 or 9 days. And then after that, I'm just going to hit practice, get a little more weight back on me, and then I'll head to college.
Stephen, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on your decision to come to LSU, and have a great summer, and we'll see you when you get down here.
Of course. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
He is Stephen Milam, signee to LSU baseball, middle infielder. I think one of the guys that I had my eye on in this class because I see where LSU is with the middle infield, and I think they can use some more pieces there. And he was the biggest one in this class, and he's decided he is going to come to school and play for LSU. Was not selected in the draft after fielding some phone calls, like he said, and that's great. And you heard it right there. He said Cameron Johnson's going to come to school, and that's a big win for us. So that's right from the signee's mouth that Cam Johnson is planning on coming to school, which is awesome news. He mentioned Ashton Larson, who was a 20th round pick of the Twins, got a decision to make. We'll see what he kind of decides to do. But Stephen Milam going to be a part of this class, and I thought it was cool that he was at the Alabama game. I wasn't even at the Alabama game. Enjoyed my cousin's wedding. It was a great time, but I wasn't there, and he was. And I guess Jay knows how to pick what games to bring guys to. Even Blake Mitchell though couldn't overcome $6 million. Probably a good experience watching LSU play Alabama, but he'll take the $6 million. But that was great to hear from Stephen Milam, and that's a guy that is gonna play some short in the fall, play some second base in the fall, and see if he can't find some time as a switch hitter. Plays on the middle infield. He's been a Team USA guy and is part of a really talented class that LSU is going to get to campus here, all but maybe one or two guys, which is awesome for the baseball program. So thanks to Stephen Milam for jumping aboard and joining us. When we come back, Black and Gold, they have $13 million to spend right now in free agency as training camp approaches. I've got a position and some names that I'd like to see them attack. That's next.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different.
Me, Jimmy Ott, for the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Dwayne Colucci, Tim Murray from VEASAN, Matt Humans, Paul Stone. A lot of guests for you. Thursday edition of Live at Lunch from Jolie Pearl on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So we were talking to Sharif Ishak yesterday about the Saints, kind of like, hey, what's next? What can you expect to hear from the Saints pre-training camp, which is in about 3 weeks? And Sharif said, I think they might go shopping, kind of look around. They've got some money to spend. They do. I looked it up. They got $13 million roughly to spend, and they can massage that however they want to do it if they want to add a player or two. And I think they will. Always got to try. The Saints are in win now mode. I've told you that a couple of times. That's what the Derek Carr trade signaled to me. This is not a reboot or a restart or a rebuild. This is let's go win games now. So let's go win games now. How do you do that? Well, you got to spend a little bit more money here before you get to camp. And there's one position that I have targeted here that I think they can bring in some veteran presence. And it's on the edges up front on defense. Yesterday we talked about the Saints secondary, and we went through that list of the top 10 corners in the league, and Marshawn Lattimore was listed at 7, down from 2 because he had the lacerated kidney. But I think the Saints secondary is going to be good. I like Lattimore. I like Adebo. I like Taylor. I like May. I think Matthew's still a good player. I'm not as wild about the Saints up front in terms of rushing the passer and what they have at tackle. I could be proven wrong at tackle. They've taken 2 guys in free agency in Nathan Shepard and Kellen Saunders, and they think that's going to be an upgrade for them. And it may be. Like, I'm not a talent evaluator. But it's unproven at the very least. And you look at the guys that they're going to count on to rush the passer around those guys. Cam Jordan, entering his mid-30s. Carl Granderson, nice player. Pro Bowler? No. Peyton Turner, still waiting. Maybe Isaiah Foskey becomes a dude. I like that pick. I think he could be really good. But if you've got $13 million to spend and you're the New Orleans Saints, there are some pretty big name, accomplished, veteran edge rushers that you could kick the tires on. The biggest name, I think, is probably Jadeveon Clowney. 30 years old, played 12 games for Cleveland last year, 28 tackles, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks. The year before that, in 2021, he had 9 sacks. He had kind of an unceremonious exit from Cleveland where he said that the Browns were more concerned with Myles Garrett going to the Hall of Fame than they were with winning football games. And then he had to retract that and apologize and all that. And so he won't be going back to Cleveland. And he's still a free agent. And that's a guy that I think the Saints could target. I'm not as wild about that one as some of the names I'm going to get to. That's probably the biggest name. I do like Melvin Ingram. Now, he's older. He's 34. But he played in all 17 games last year for Miami. And he only started 3, but he played in all 17. He had 6 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, got to the quarterback for 10 pressures, and has been a proven pass rushing presence in the league. Keep in mind, the point of this exercise is not for the Saints to find the next Pro Bowler or 14 sack guy. It's to supplement the position, add some proven NFL experience. Justin Houston is going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's 34. Played in 14 games for Baltimore last year. Had 9.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 17 QB hurries. I would absolutely pick up the phone and call him. Again, 34 years old. Maybe he doesn't have 10 more sacks in him, but he might, and I would like to explore that. That's probably the guy on this list that I would call first. I would go in reverse order there. I'd go Houston, then I'd go Ingram, then I'd go Clowney. And I don't know what they command or what their offers may be, but the Saints do have some money to spend, and I would explore that. And the other name of a younger player who's closer to his prime is Yannick Ngakoue. He's played for 4 teams in 8 years, but in those 8 years, he's got 65 sacks. In 2022, he had 9.5 sacks for Indianapolis. And you would say, well, why does he keep getting away from teams if he's getting 8-9 sacks a year? Well, I think he doesn't stop the run at all. I think he stops the run none. He's athletic. He's wiry. He's rangy. He racks up stats. He gets sacks. He can't set the edge. He doesn't stop the run. But again, I'm not asking for your number one guy. You've got Cam Jordan, who stops the run very well. You've got Carl Granderson. You've got Peyton Turner. You've got Isaiah Foskey. You've still got Roach and Brzee as reserves. And we talked about Shepard and Saunders. Like, it's not like you're trying to fill a hole necessarily. You're just adding to some pass rush, because I believe if the Saints can get some pass rush, the secondary will make plays. I don't think they got enough pass rush last year. And I don't think the secondary made very many plays. That's a recipe for disaster. When you play the really good quarterbacks, you're not affecting them. When you're playing these bad quarterbacks, which half the Saints' schedule is quote-unquote bad quarterbacks, put some pressure on them. Make them make a mistake. Let's see what you got, Desmond Ridder. Let's see what you got, Kyle Trask. Rookie Bryce Young. Come on. You're playing Jordan Love. Let's get after him. And I just don't know if the Cam Jordan, Nathan Shepard, Kalen Saunders, Carl Granderson group is really firing me up with a lot of pass rush ability. Again, maybe Foskey and Brzee help that. Maybe Peyton Turner realizes his athletic potential. But I'm adding to it. I'm calling Jadeveon Clowney. I'm calling Melvin Ingram. I'm calling Justin Houston. I'm calling Yannick Ngakoue. Because I think they can help the Saints team. You know, we're all looking at what's the offense look like. Can they stay healthy? We're all looking at the new draft picks. And I think what's been kind of under-discussed, or certainly is for me, is the fact that there's still money to be spent and there's still guys out there. Now, maybe the Saints see linebacker as a far more pressing need, and I wouldn't disagree with that. Maybe the Kamara suspension comes down and it's worse than they thought, and they want to save enough money to go find a veteran running back. You can never have too many offensive linemen. Those guys get hurt. Maybe you save some cash there. Maybe you don't feel like you've got enough safeties behind May and Matthew who are aging. But I like the fact that there are some guys that I know if Justin Houston gives me 15 games next year, he's going to have 8 sacks. I know if Yannick Ngakoue plays for the Saints next year and plays in 17 games, he's going to have pushing 10 sacks. They do it year in and year out. This is a proven track record. This is not betting on the lottery ticket that is Isaiah Foskey. This is not betting on Brian Brzee. These are guys that have played in the NFL nearly a decade plus in some cases, and they do it. So I know the Saints are wizards with the cap. I know they're in win now mode. And I would expect at some point over the next month for the Saints to dive in and make this happen. Now, these guys are really veterans. So they miss a little bit of camp at some point. It's no big deal. They know what they're doing. They know how to get their bodies ready. They know how to get ready for a season. So I don't know how long they go without a team. But in my opinion, go get them. Find somebody that's going to come up, set the edge, rush the passer, and let the secondary, where you do have some really good players in their prime, make more plays than they did last year. Because if you force turnovers at the rate you did last year, which was almost nothing, you're behind the 8 ball. There are enough good players in that defense. They should have forced more turnovers than they did. I think they got to rush the passer a little bit better, and I would kick the tires on some of these guys on one-year deals. That's just me. A lot of football talk up and coming in the next few weeks. Baseball's basically in the rearview mirror now. Draft's gone. Got some transfer portal ads that'll happen over the next couple of days, but it's just about full steam ahead for football. I'm going to head out and grab my college football NFL magazines this week because I'm going to take those, get those ready for media day next week, and then head to the beach and dive in. And when I get back, they'll be on the practice field. Saints will already be there, and the LSU will be one day away. So very much looking forward to football season. I could ease out of baseball feeling accomplished. We got a national championship. I don't have to lament the end of the season. I can celebrate it and move right on into football, and I know y'all are fired up for that as well. We'll take a time out here. We'll come back with more. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Super weird, but we can take care of it. Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home in Baton Rouge. I'm remembering what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR presented by Pluckers. We've got all the recap and reaction to the MLB draft, and the Big 12 kicks off college football's talking season with Big 12 Media Days. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If y'all would allow me to bring something up that is going to be something I tell you about for the next week here until next Wednesday. I'm thrilled to partner with the Baton Rouge Children's Advocacy Center and be a quote-unquote celebrity waiter at their event coming up on Wednesday at LaBerge. The Baton Rouge Children's Advocacy Center is a phenomenal organization that raises funds and helps children who have dealt with abuse early in their lives. And I can't think of a better cause than that. And I'm going to be a celebrity waiter at the event coming up next Wednesday, but you can help out as well. If you go to my Twitter page, the post is pinned to the top. I've got a virtual tip jar there. And if you go to @HuntPalmer88 and click that link, and no donation too big or too small to help the Baton Rouge Children's Advocacy Center, I would be really, really appreciative if you would. I'm honored that they've asked me to be a part of this. We're going to raise as much money we can for youth that have had a tough start, and that's just an unbelievable organization that I'm thrilled to be affiliated with. So @HuntPalmer88, right there at the top of my Twitter profile, you can click on the link and donate to the virtual tip jar. It's really easy. Put your name, the amount, hit click and it's submitted. So certainly appreciate y'all if you would help us out with that. 2023 SEC Media Days, Hudco Roofing and Rev Business bring you live coverage of the 2023 SEC Football Media Days, Monday, July 17th through Thursday, July the 20th. You can find highlights from the week on 104.5 ESPN's YouTube channel. Our coverage also brought to you by, as I mentioned, Rev Business, and heard exclusively on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're going to send Jacob and T-Bob to SEC Media Days. We're going to send Matt to SEC Media Days. They will have a ton of content from Nashville next week. They'll have tons of guests. You'll have players. You'll have coaches. You'll have talking heads. It is officially talking season, as Matt mentioned there. And he mentioned in that tease you just heard prior to this segment that the Big 12's Media Days cranked things up earlier today. And if you weren't paying attention, like I really wasn't, the Big 12 has made its additions. Houston is a part of it. Cincinnati is a part of it. It's BYU is a part of it. I think Central Florida as well. So it's a big step up for the Big 12. But my contention is this, and I think we're working towards something totally separate from this issue. But for right now, we talk about the Power Five. When does that moniker go away? When Texas and Oklahoma leave the Big 12, what's powerful about that? Nothing. They don't have A&M. They don't have Texas. They don't have Oklahoma. They don't have Nebraska. They've got Kansas and Kansas State and Texas Tech and Oklahoma State and TCU and Cincinnati and Houston and West Virginia. How is that a power conference? USC and UCLA leave the Pac-12. We got Colorado. We got Cal, Arizona State, Washington State. I'm supposed to give you a lot of credit for that? I don't think so. And I think as we continue to evolve in college sports and we continue to determine how we're going to crown champions, NCAA tournament wants to expand to 96, college football playoff wants to expand to 12. I'm just very hesitant, personally, to give the same reward to the Big 12 champion in football with no Texas and no Oklahoma and no Nebraska and no A&M. I'm hesitant to give them the same recognition and reward that I'm giving to the Southeastern Conference's champion that has Texas and Oklahoma and LSU and Alabama and Auburn and Georgia and Florida and Tennessee. Like, one of these is not like the other. And I think it's time to have that frank conversation as we talk about how we're going to select playoff teams. I'm perfectly fine letting the committee do it. Make it all subjective and let them go. I'm fine with it on the baseball side. I'm fine with it on the basketball side. I'm fine with it on the football side. Am I going to agree with everything they say every time? No. I'm not going to agree with every decision. I still hold a grudge over the 2011 tournament in baseball when they let St. John's in and not LSU because they said that LSU had 6 of its 12 conference wins against Kentucky and Tennessee who weren't good. And my argument to that was, well, who did St. John's beat in conference? Were they good? So no, I'm not going to agree with them every time. But I'll tell you where I'll disagree with them every time is if you tell me that the winner of the Pac-12 with no USC and no UCLA deserves the same recognition and merit that the Southeastern Conference or Big Ten winner. You give me a conference with USC, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and tell me that that champion gets the same reward as whoever wins the end of the season game between Texas Tech and Oklahoma State? I don't think so. And it's kind of gotten me into this football mold. Now, I don't know where exactly we're going, but it feels like we're going to end up with just 2 conferences anyway, so this entire conversation is moot, but it's not next year. So it's time to get out in front of it. If you're, one of these teams that doesn't care about competing for national championships anyway, then you don't have to have the discussion. I do, because I'm trying to win the national championship. That's kind of the goal around here. So I have a vested interest in like how you frame these leagues that we've called Power 5 for years and years and years when it's really a Power 2. You want to call them Power 5 in basketball? I won't fight you. Power 6, throw the Big East in there. That's great. For football, the discussion needs to change a little bit. And football's never been afraid to kind of walk out on its own. It drives the bus and all this stuff. So I'm sitting there looking at Dana Holgerson wearing a Houston Cougars hat and media days saying he's thrilled to be back in the Big 12. I'm not giving Houston a huge high five for sweeping through TCU, Texas Tech, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. And everybody's saying, well, we got to be inclusive. You got to give teams a chance. Well, why do we play the games if these teams don't have a chance? Why don't we just put Ohio State and Alabama and Clemson in the playoff every year and just not even play the games? I'm just not going to listen to that drivel anymore. Like, there's been a clear shift in power. There are only 20 of these programs that matter anyway, and 4 of them just moved. And they left a hole in the 2 leagues they left that is not being replaced. You can't take 2 boulders out and replace them with 30 pebbles. It's not the same. So I'm starting to wind into football, and the Big 12 cranking things up today kind of got me thinking, and I started thinking about the term Power 5, and I started going, wait a second. I know we're headed to the Power 2, but can we just admit that we're already there? The ACC's flapping in the breeze over there, not doing a heck of a lot. There are some programs over there that could have a pulse that don't. I'm looking at you, Miami. But I'm curious as to if we're going to have a frank discussion about this, or if we're going to tiptoe around, be politically correct, and give everybody a chance, and then, kind of end up with TCU in the final. I feel bad picking on TCU like that. I thought they could stay in it. I you go back. It's all on tape. I thought the day of that game, I thought, they'll stay in it. They've stayed in with everybody. Nice job against Michigan. They give up 100. So, tough scene. But SEC Media Days coming up next week. We'll kind of preview that coming up on Friday's show. As I mentioned, the guys will be there. And what I'm planning to do with my show is maybe find some sound bites or clips that are interesting. But we're just really going to dive into whatever teams are there. Whatever 4 teams are being featured that day, I'm going to dive in. Returning starters, quarterbacks, statistics, schedule, the whole deal. And we'll just kind of walk hand in hand with them. I think the way that it'll work well because the morning guys will have great guests and they'll have a lot of content. Matt will have probably even better guests because that's when the players and coaches are actually making the rounds. They're not there at 7 o'clock in the morning usually. And so they'll have great guests and content and energy in that way. We'll just kind of pigeonhole it and we'll talk about the teams that are being debuted day by day from back here in the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio as they're up there in Nashville. I think Nashville's going to be great for Media Days. I love the setup in Hoover. I think they've got it figured out and they do a really good job. Radio Row's in a good spot. They've got enough ballrooms and the local TV crew can go in one place, and the big writer's room where the coaches spend 30 minutes is a good setup. So I like that. Apparently Atlanta was kind of too spread out. I wasn't there for that, but apparently it was. We'll see how Nashville can handle it, but I think Nashville's pretty good at most things. If they want to leave the SEC basketball tournament right there, I'd be just fine with that. So SEC Media Days coming up next week, and we will bring it to you courtesy of the folks over at Rev Business and Hudco Roofing. All right, we'll take one more time out. When we come back, we will play some Take It or Leave It and get on down the road. It's Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team have been at this for 3 decades. You do something for 3 decades, you probably got it figured out by now. So go to onebathandclosets.com. You can see testimonials of their great work. You can see pictures of their great work. You can request a free consultation. Free, costs you nothing. Ask David Duvall and his team to come out and just talk about what they can do in your home. Maybe it's a full-scale bathroom renovation. Just do the whole thing, soup to nuts. You call one contractor, David Duvall, he handles the rest over at One Bath and Closets. Maybe it's something simple, tub to shower conversion. Changes the look of your bathroom, changes the functionality of your bathroom, and it's affordable and quick. On the closet side, they can do so much to customize things to your personal wardrobe and living situation. Just let them come over there and check it out. I can promise you this. They're not going to do the job, cut some corners, go to the next job, and then 3 weeks later, something's falling apart. They're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Check out that website, onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
On Thursdays, OTB. The Cajun Cannon stops by to talk a little Saints football. Plus, Chef Michael Johnson, the brand new edition of Munchies, and Ronnie Rantz joins us to talk Rougarou. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, we'll get to take it or leave it here, short leave it. Beck, I want you to open your microphone here. There's not a ton of our audience that was listening 1 hour ago, but that's when I went on that ridiculous rant about how stupid the All-Star Game uniforms are, and I hate patches on the Yankees jerseys, and I can't tell what NBA teams are wearing, what teams are on the floor, because they're all wearing different colors with different words on them. You're younger than me. Where did you fall on that, on the validity of that rant?
I don't disagree. I think
I'm a soccer fan too. I know not many people are, but I do think that the jerseys with, I mean, a lot of times it's the soccer, they have a crest, so you know that, but it's the bigger logo on the front is way out there, and it's kind of more obvious. And
yeah, like Man City's got like an airline like Etihad or something on it.
Etihad, and then a lot of them are like Qatar Airways and such. I'm not a big fan of that, but yeah, I don't know, man. It seems weird to me that we could see a day where the Cubs and the Yankees, these classic Dodgers, maybe like classic uniforms have logos on them. Like the NBA's already started it with the front patch. So
it's so odd to me that young people like uniforms and jerseys that aren't the team's colors. Yeah. That's always been fascinating to me. Like, why would I want a green LSU hat?
Yeah,
I don't understand. LSU's purple and gold.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think though a lot of times it's like people like variety, like
the novelty
stuff. It's like unique, you know? Yeah.
I mean, look, I wear the same thing every single day. I wore a golf shirt and chino pants. Like I get, I'm the last guy on earth that anyone should be looking towards fashion stuff. I just don't. It doesn't click to me. If I want a Cubs item, I want it to be blue and not navy like they wear on Fridays with these Wrigleyville uniforms. Royal blue, like the team wears. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Let's play Take It or Leave It.
All right, first one here. Kansas QB Jalen Daniels showed up to the Big 12 Media Days wearing a chain that plays his highlights. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking this. You got to see this on Twitter if you haven't yet. It's got a little screen on the thing. Anything to make Media Day interesting. Like I've lamented this, and we'll probably do it again as we're doing it. Like, I miss Spurrier. I miss Bielema. I miss Les. Like, I miss Dan Mullen and Houston Nutt chirping at each other over the Ole Miss Mississippi State rivalry. Like, give me some meat on the bone. And if Jalen Daniels wants to come wearing a chain that plays his highlights on it, and he's the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, get after it, man. That works just fine for me. I'm good with that. There's the video right there.
There it is.
There you go.
It's actually kind of bigger than I was expecting, but I wonder how they did. Maybe it's like an Apple Watch, probably. I'm not sure.
It looks like an Apple Watch that's just attached to a gold chain. And
I guess.
Get on it.
All right, next one here. The Savannah Bananas won their game last night after a fan caught a foul ball for the final out. That is rule number 8 for the Bananas. If a fan catches a foul ball, is an out. Bananas are awesome. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Look, it's not for me.
I'll take it.
I love watching traditional baseball. I don't need the pitch clock. I can sit there for 3.5 hours and enjoy it. I'm fine. But if you're looking for something fun and different and fresh, the Savannah Bananas are that. Like, it's a nutty baseball game, and they got all these different kind of rules, and one of them is if a fan catches the ball, it's an out. Good catch. Bring your glove. Love to see it.
All right. Sorry, I was going to pull the video up for it, but
all
right, that's good. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart said Tuesday, it's not the volume of the speeding tickets, it's the speed of the speeding tickets. That's the bigger concern to me. Georgia football players need to slow down. Take it or leave it.
I got to take this. And obviously this is like a serious issue because we've had 2 deaths because of this. And certainly Georgia's football players are not the only people that are driving too fast. We saw Denver Harris flying through the parking garage at Texas A&M last year. Young people do stupid stuff. But I got to imagine, if you're not paying attention to this, Georgia's getting, their players continue to get speeding tickets at obnoxiously high speeds. And I can only imagine Kirby Smart, who's got this phenomenal machine of a football program that is moving forward, is so frustrated by his players continuing to make this stupid decision that he just wants to walk into the locker room and go, hey, dudes, can we just keep it under 80 miles an hour for a few months? Like, can we keep it under 85 miles an hour? Why do we have to drive our cars 103? Can we just not? One, it's ridiculously dangerous. And what's the upside here? What's the upside of this drag racing? Like, do something else for fun that doesn't bring death right into the equation. I mean, this is not like just a dumb thing. Like, you can die doing this, and people have. And it continues to happen. Do something else for fun. Call a young lady. Go out on a date. Stop driving 103. It's just not that hard. This is not a hard thing to do. Don't go 100. It's got to be driving Kirby Smart absolutely nuts that his guys continue to do this.
All right, last one here. Running back Saquon Barkley's availability for Week 1 will be in question if he doesn't reach a long-term deal with the Giants. Barkley and the Giants have until 3 p.m. Central Time Monday to finalize a deal. The Giants should pay up. Take it or leave it.
I'm probably going to leave it. I mean, this is what we talked about with the What If Wednesday when they asked about the Saints trading their entire draft for Ricky Williams. I was like, they traded their entire draft for the one position that like is disposable in the NFL. And Saquon Barkley might be the best running back in the NFL. You can take your pick. There's a lot of really, really good ones. You want Jonathan Taylor or Christian McCaffrey, or take your pick of whoever you want at running back. Saquon Barkley's in the discussion. But is that worth a monster payday? And I just don't think it is.
He's 26. He's got 954 carries in his career.
Exactly. And I had a round at Sports Trivia last night. Only one 30-year-old has ever run for 20 touchdowns in a season. Now, 20 touchdowns in a season is a pretty good year, but only one 30-plus-year-old's ever done it. It was John Riggins in the early 80s. And that was kind of striking to me when I saw it. I was like, man, everywhere else you can really play at 30, and you can still play running back at 30. Frank Gore played running back deep into his 30s and was productive. 20 touchdowns is a lot, but that just kind of puts into perspective, like, you're just not going to pay those running backs that. And it sucks for running backs who come into the NFL on their rookie deal and really don't have any flexibility in that. And by the time they want to get paid, they're trying to get kicked out the door. And that's really unfortunate for that position. But if I'm trying to run an organization, I'm trying to win games, win the division, win the conference, win the Super Bowl, and I've got a salary cap that restricts how much I can spend, I just don't know that I'm going to dump that much into Saquon Barkley. I just don't think it's going to happen. And Saquon can hold out and do all that, and we'll see. Le'Veon Bell tried the same thing, but I wouldn't do it if I was the Giants. I might just have to move on with somebody else, so that'll be interesting to follow over the next 4 days or so. That'll do it here for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We open things up talking about the Major League Baseball draft now that it is settled. I gave you my thoughts on what some LSU players may do. Ronnie Rantz came on at 1:15 to talk about some cool stuff they're doing with the Rougarou. They've got an Ironman night tomorrow where they're going to have one player play every position in 9 innings. And they also have the world's tallest umpire and world's shortest umpire umping the same game coming up on Friday night, so check that out as well. It was a What If Wednesday. We answered some interesting questions like, what if Dylan Cruz went to second in that leadoff hit in the final Wake Forest game? Would they have walked Tommy Tanks instead of pitching to him for the walk-off? Talked about what if Trey Morgan was right-handed? Would he be a shortstop? Talked about what if D. Bird dropped the pass against Auburn in 07? All those back in the first hour. And then at the end of hour number 1, I ranted and raved about all-star uniforms and patches on jerseys and whatnot. If you want to hear that, you can. It's at the end of hour number 1. Stephen Milam, LSU middle infielder commitment, and Signee, who's going to come to Baton Rouge and play his college baseball for LSU. He was with us at 2 o'clock. Dropped a nice little nugget that Cam Johnson's coming to school. That was really good. So you can go back and listen to that entire interview on demand. We talked Saints free agent possibilities at 2:15. I think they should go get a veteran pass rusher, and I gave you some options there. So if you missed any of it, catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com's on demand tab, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or on YouTube. Those football segments we did, it'll be on Hunt on Saints and Hunt on LSU, the 2 YouTube channels that talk football from this show. So go on and check all of that out. I think we're going to have some transfer portal news to talk about with LSU baseball tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Matt's about to drive you home from 3 to 6 on After Further Review. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, 1 to 3 on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.